guys, and welcome to Entry Level 1 English Week 7. Yeah, we've got to Week 7 already, so I hope you're well. I hope you've had a good week and it's nice to see you all again. So this week our objectives for today are we're going to do your spelling test, obviously. We've got some new spellings for you. We're going to review the present, the future and the past simple tense. Okay, so we're just going to have a little review of everything we've done so far, just to keep you kind of thinking about all the different tenses and when we use them and how we use them and how we form them. We're going to review types and features of text, so leaflet, adverts and emails. We're going to have a quick look at those again. We're going to look at the past simple in the negative form, okay, which is very simple, very easy. So we're going to look at past simple in the negative form. And then you're going to do some more writing for me for your homework in the past, just to kind of reaffirm that, how we write in the past, and do another story in the past for me, okay? So that will be for your homework. Yeah, so that's what we've got for today. So let's get on with the spellings, which is first. Okay, so we've got 10 spellings, and those spellings have the I sound in them, the I sound, which can be spelt in a number of different ways, can't it? So I'm going to say the word, say a sentence and say the word, and then I want you to spell that word for me, okay? So pen, paper, there are 10 spellings. Okay, number 1, night. I go to bed at 11 o'clock at night. Night. How do you spell night? Number 2, light. Turn off the light, please. Light. Number 3, right. Turn right after the traffic lights. Right. How do you spell right? Turn right after the traffic lights. Number 4, high. How high can you climb? High. Can you spell high for me, please? Number 5, cry. I can't think of anything with crying. I don't usually cry. Can you spell cry for me, please? One moment, I'm just going to get the door. There's a knock on the door. Just pause. Sorry about that. Okay, so where were we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 6, my. My cat is beautiful. My. How do you spell my? Number 7, like. I like white wine. Like. How do you spell like? Number 8, find. I can't find my keys. Find. How do you spell find? Number 9, time. What's the time, please? Time. How do you spell time? And number 10, write. Can you write down your name and address for me, please? Write. How do you spell write? To write your name and address. Okay, that's your spellings. Let's get them up on the board and have a look how you did. Okay, so let's go through these spellings and see how you did then. Let's see how many you got out of 10, shall we? How did you do? What did you get out of 10? So we got night, N-I-G-H-T, N-I-G-H-T, that I-G-H sound for I sound. Light, L-I-G-H-T, L-I-G-H-T. Right, as in the right hand, turn right, you are right, R-I-G-H-T. High, how high? H-I-G-H, cry, C-R-Y, my, M-Y, like, L-I-K-E, find, F-I-N-D, time, T-I-M-E, and write, as in to write, W-R-I-T-E. How did you do? How many did you get out of 10? Let me know how you did. Let me know how you got on. Okay, I'm going to get the new ones up on the board now. Okay, so let's have a look at next week's spellings. So this time we're going to be looking at the sound. It's a funny sound, isn't it? Can you say that? So should, would, could, good, would, Okay, so we've got different ways of spelling that here. O-U-L, 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 double O and double O. Okay, so we can spell it in that way. And this is an sound. Would, should, could, good, and would. So let's sort of look at these separately. So should, sh, d, should. Okay, so sh, d, should. Should we use to give advice, to give tips and advice to people. So you should take paracetamol for a headache. So should we use to give advice or to give tips, to give people, advice, okay? You should take paracetamol if you have a headache. You should take paracetamol. You should drive slowly in town. You should do your homework every day. Okay, so advice, we use should. It's polite, very polite way of, sorry, I just dropped a pen. Very polite way of speaking. So you should do something. We give advice to people and it's very polite, a nice way to say something. You know, you should wear sunscreen when it's hot, okay? Would and could, we use these a lot in questions. I mean, obviously there are other things we can use it for, but we do use it a lot in questions. Polite requests or questions. So would you like to come to my party? So would and could we use when we're being very polite, very nice to use, and when we're using questions or requests. So would for a question, would you like to come to my party? Would you like to come to my party? It's more polite than can you come? Okay, or are you coming? Would you like to? It's very polite, it's very nice. Would you like to come to my party? Would you like some tea? Would you like a piece of cake? Would you like some help? Okay? And could is for requests. We ask people to do something in a very polite way. Could you close the door, please? Could you turn off the light, please? Could you sit down, please? Could you do your homework, please? It's a very nice, polite way of asking somebody to do something, a request. So would and could. Then we've got Now, very similar. Could, is a k beginning. K, d, could. And good is a g. Comes more from here, g. You can feel it here. K, comes from your mouth. K, you can feel the breath. K, could. Good comes, you can feel it here, vibrating in here. Good, g. So could and good. Could and good. Okay? Very little difference and very difficult for people if they're not English speakers. Very difficult to get that difference there. So good. Obviously the cake is good. You were good today. Your work was good. Did you have a good time in France? Did you have a good holiday? Okay, good. Then we have would, which is the same as this. W-u-d, would. But different spelling and different meaning. Wood, obviously wood is a material. Table is made of wood. Trees, obviously, are wood. Yeah, the tree is made of wood. Fences, tables, chairs, all made of wood. Okay, so wood is a material. Wooden is the adjective we use to describe a wooden table, a wooden chair, made of wood. Wood is the noun. Okay, so would, could and good. Try and, I want you to practice that pronunciation. It's very difficult. Remember, k. So for this one, it's a k sound, and we can feel the air. K. I can feel the air on my hand. K. Could. And this one, g, is from here. G. Good. Could, good. I want you to practice that, okay? So we've got should, would, could, good, would. And then we're going to have 5 more, which will be surprise, mystery spellings from the last few weeks. So they might be last week's from all the way back, okay? So we'll have 5 surprise ones, 5 new ones and 5 surprise ones, 5 mystery spellings, okay? So you'll have 10 spellings in your test next week. So learn these, please. Make some sentences with them. Practice using those words. It'll help you to learn. Okay? Okay, so we're just going to have a quick grammar review. Review our grammar. Because this is one of the most important things, is that you get your grammar right. When you're speaking, and it's the most difficult thing to do if English isn't your first language in particular. So present simple tense. So remember, we use the present simple tense to talk about routines, habits, truths, facts, things that are true now, things that are always true. Okay, and we use that present simple tense. And remember, with the present simple tense, we use the base form of the verb go. So go, play, do, have, eat, cook. With I, you, they and we. And with she, we use goes. Or with he or it, we add s or es or ies. So I go to work every day. She goes to the gym at the weekend. They play football on Saturdays. He plays tennis after work in the summer. So we've added an S here, an ES here, for he or she. Okay, so we add that S or ES or IES if there's a Y. We take the Y away, don't we, and put IES. If it's consonant Y, not if it's vowel Y, we just add S. So I go to work every day. She goes to the gym at the weekend. They play football on Saturdays. He plays tennis after work in the summer. Negative. For negative, with I, you, they, we say don't play, and we use the base form of the verb always. Always, okay? I don't play football. He doesn't go to the gym. So we use doesn't for he, she or it. Okay? But we use the base form of the verb. We don't change the verb. It stays in the base form for negatives. We just use doesn't instead of don't. I don't play football. He doesn't go to the gym. And for questions, we use do or does. Do you, do they, do we, do I, does he, does she, does it. And again, base form of the verb. Okay, that doesn't, we only add s in the positive. Okay? In the positive, we add s. But for negative and questions, we don't. We do and we use do and does and don't and doesn't. So do you play football? Does she go to the gym? Do they eat Japanese food? Does he like coffee? Okay, so do and does, don't and doesn't for negatives and questions. For the present simple, okay? You've got to remember that when you're talking to me and you're telling me about your boss or your wife or your husband or your children or your dog, you've got to add that S, okay? My daughter takes the dog for a walk every day. My wife cleans the house at the weekend. My husband cooks the meal in the evening. Okay, we've got to add that S, remember, when we're talking about he, she or it, the other person. Okay? But if I'm talking about you, we don't. You cook, you play, you go. He, she, it goes, plays, cooks. Okay, you've got to remember that for present simple, really important. Okay. Okay, just quickly looking at the future simple tense. So for the future simple, we use will plus the base form. It's so easy because we use the base form. It stays the same for everybody. I, she, they, he, I, she, he, they will go, will play, will cook, will do, will have, will eat, will visit. So we just use will plus the base form. We don't change it. Doesn't matter who it is. I will go to Spain. She will go to the gym. They will play tennis. He will cook dinner. So it's nice and easy. We just have to put will in front of the base form of the verb. So subject, I, he, she, it, my mum, my dad, the cat, the house, the car. Okay? Will, base form of the verb. Rest of your sentence. And with negatives, and I'm not sure how much we talked about negatives last week, if we did, but negatives is just as easy. We say will not and the base form, will not and the base form, will not and the base form. So it's exactly the same, but instead of will, we say I will not go. She will not go. They will not play. He will not cook. And we shorten will not to won't. Won't. So I want you to say that for me. Won't. Not want, won't. O. It's an O sound, won't. So will not becomes won't. I won't. She won't. They won't. I won't go to the party. She won't clean the house. They won't wash the car. So will not shortens down to won't. Okay? So I won't go to the party next weekend. I won't wash the car tomorrow. She won't clean the house at the weekend. She won't go to work tomorrow. Okay, will not becomes won't, but it's the same. We just use will not, won't, plus the base form of the verb for everybody. We don't have to change the verb at all. Okay, nice and easy. And questions. Questions in the future simple, and we didn't do much of this either, so I just quickly go over it. Again, it's so simple though for the future simple tense. We just put will at the beginning, then our subject, then the base form of the verb. That's it. We don't have to change any verbs. We don't have to So will she go to the party? Will you wash the dishes? Will I be late? Will they go to France? So whether it's I, you, he, she, whatever, we keep the base form of the verb. Go, wash, be, cook, eat, visit, play. Will goes at the beginning. Subject straight after. Will you, will she, will he, will they. Very easy, the future simple tense. Nice and easy to use, okay? Shouldn't be too, because that verb doesn't change. Whereas with the present, with he, she, it, we add that s or the es. With the future simple, that doesn't happen, so it makes it much easier. Right, I'm going to look at the past quickly. Okay, so past simple tense. Now remember, we've got two types of verbs for the past simple. We've got the regular and irregular. With regular verbs, we add ed or just a d or ied if we take the y away, which we do for some verbs, okay? So for regular verbs, we have the subject, just like the present simple, the subject, base form of the verb, add ed for everything. I, you, he, she, it. That verb stays the same for every subject. I, you, he, she, it. It stays as played. We don't change it, but it does add ed. So these are for regular verbs, remember we add ed. I played football yesterday. He played tennis last weekend. They watched TV last night. She visited her brother 2 weeks ago. You carry, here we've taken the y and put ied because it's before a consonant. We don't do it for play because it's before a vowel, so we just add ed. The same rules for when we add s's to the present simple. If it's got vowel and y, we just add ed. If it's consonant and y, carry, C-A-R-R-Y, we remove the y, put ied. You carried the heavy box. We liked, here we just add d because we've already got an e at the end. So we don't add another e, we just add d. You liked the movie. We liked the movie. Okay? So for regular verbs in the past, we just add ed, basically. Okay? So we travelled, we visited, we carried, we played, we watched, we liked, we lifted, there's lots of regular verbs. I can't think of any now, but there's lots. So regular verbs, we add ed, and it has that carried d sound at the end, doesn't it? Played, played, d. It has a d sound, not ed, just a d sound. Played, played. Watched, watched. Visited, visited. That's d at the end. Okay, carried, d at the end. Okay, irregular verbs, a bit more complicated because they're all different. Okay, so irregular verbs in the past simple. There are so many of them and you just have to learn them. There's no rules, there's nothing, there's no easy way. You just have to learn them. So go is irregular, it becomes went. I went to work yesterday. She went to the gym last night. See becomes saw. They saw a movie last night. Have becomes had. He had a Chinese takeaway at the weekend. Do becomes did. They did the washing up. They did the washing up. Drive becomes drove. You drove to Southampton. And these irregular verbs in the past, they stay the same for he, she, it, you, they. So I went, you went, he went, she went, they went. It stays the same, but obviously you've got to learn them. And there's no easy way to learn them. You just have to practice, practice, practice. I sent you a list of some of the most common ones, and you just have to try and learn some. Especially these common ones, you know, these ones that we use a lot. Because a lot of people who English is their second language, they say, yesterday I go to work. But obviously that's wrong. It's yesterday I went to work. Okay, and that's a big mistake that lots of people make. So we have to learn these irregular verbs and the regular verbs with ed. Yesterday I played football. Yesterday I worked for 10 hours. Yesterday I worked for 10 hours. Yesterday I went to work. We've got to learn them, and there's no easy way learning regular or irregular. There's no rule, okay? So that's what we looked at last week. We're just going to have a quick look at the past simple negative. Okay, now the past simple tense negative is much, much easier. Very easy. We just use did not. It's a bit like will not for the future simple. For the past simple, we just put did not in front of the base form of the verb. Easy, right? And it's always did not. So I did not. And we shorten it to didn't. Didn't. So say that for me. Didn't. I didn't go to work yesterday. I didn't go to work yesterday. Not I not go, I didn't. We have to add that do or did or does when we talk about future, present, when we talk about present or past, okay? Simple tenses. So I didn't go to work yesterday. She didn't play football. They didn't eat pasta. You didn't visit Spain. Okay, so we just keep the base form of the verb, you can see there. Go, play, eat, visit. But we add didn't before. After the subject and before the verb. And it's did not, but shortened to didn't. Okay? And that's nice and easy, right? Nice and easy, not difficult. So for the negative, it's easy. I didn't do this, I didn't do that, I didn't go here, I didn't play this, I didn't watch, I didn't visit, I didn't travel, I didn't cook, I didn't drive, etc. Okay, so nice and easy. One other thing I want to look at. Okay, so as we know, when we use the verb be, this is often different, the verb be. So in the present simple, it's I am, he is, she is, it is, you are, they are, we are. So that's in the present simple. The verb be in the future simple is fine because we just use verb be. I will be, you will be, he will be. Easy. I won't be. Will you be? Okay, we just leave it as be. But in the past simple, be becomes was or were. Okay, it's an irregular verb and it becomes was or were. I was, he, she, it was, you were, they were, we were. So this is the past, like I am hungry, I was hungry. Right now, I am hungry. Yesterday, I was hungry. He, she, it is tired. Now, she is tired. Yesterday, he was tired. Is and was. Am and was. You are angry. Now, you are angry. Yesterday, you were angry. They were at the cinema. You are at the cinema. They are at the cinema. We are looking for my keys. We were looking for my keys. So be becomes was or were. It's irregular. And we use for I, he, she, it was, and for you, they, we, were. Now when it's a negative, it just simply changes to was not or were not. I wasn't hungry. He wasn't tired. You weren't angry. They weren't at the cinema. We weren't looking for my keys. So was not becomes wasn't. I wasn't. And were not, weren't. The shortened version. They weren't. You weren't. Okay, so can you make these sentences negative? I wasn't hungry. She wasn't tired. You weren't angry. They weren't at the cinema. We weren't looking for my keys. Okay, so the negative with be is irregular. So it becomes was or were. Okay? It's not the same for all the others are the same for everything, whether it's he, she, it, you know, went, I went, you went, he went, she went, always went. But with be, it's was, were, which is a bit annoying, isn't it? Why can't it just stay the same? So that's the negative with be, okay? Right, so we've had a look at all the grammar. We've had a look at present, future and past, okay? And we're just going to keep practicing them week on week. There'll always be something in your work with those tenses in to try and get you used to using them. And we'll be doing lots of practice on our video chats where I'll ask you to talk about things in the future, things now, things in the past, okay, so that we just practice using those tenses. So we'll be doing lots of video chats where I ask you to use those tenses as well as some of our role plays and our spelling, etc. Okay, right, just pause. Okay, just the last little bit now, just a quick review of what we would expect to find in a leaflet or an advert or in an email. So you remember we've been talking about these for the last couple of weeks and you've been having some practice writing them. So can you remember what things you would see in a leaflet or an advert or in an email that show us that they are a leaflet or an advert, or show us they are an email? They make it easier to read. They help us to find information, and they are the features of a leaflet or the features of an email. Can you remember what those features are? What makes it easier to find information or easier to read? Do you think you could write some, if you can remember, can you write some down under each for me? If you can't remember, don't worry, you can do it with me. But if you can remember, just pause the video, pause, and write some down for me, okay? If you can't remember, then just stay with me and we'll put them up on the board now. Okay, so let's just have a quick look, see if some of you got this right, if you knew these, some of you. So for leaflets and adverts, there's lots of different things that we can use to make it easier for us to read. So there might be some coloured text, different colours, bright colours. Headings, a heading at the top like this. Subheadings, more headings down the side. Underlining. Pictures or images. Bullet points. Remember we've got those points for lists. Numbered lists, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bold text. I don't know whether I mentioned that last time, and actually I don't know whether you can see that because the light's just coming in a bit funny now. Let me just try and get there eventually. You can just about see it. Just a little light on. See if that helps at all. So, underlining, block capitals when everything's in block capital letters. Bold text, I don't know whether we said that before, it's when it's darker and thicker, bold text. So those are some of the things we find in leaflets and adverts that help us read the information, make it easier to read and help us find information, make it more interesting. In emails we have a to box, a subject box, we might have a CC box as well. We have greetings, hi and hello. How are you? We have goodbyes, from, love, see you soon, speak later. And also I forgot to say last time, I think, that we organise our work into paragraphs. Paragraphs are 2, 3 or 4 sentences all together, then a space and then a new topic with new sentences. So it's where we have a few sentences, space, more sentences, space, more sentences. These are called paragraphs. So that's what you would expect to find in emails. Paragraphs, a CC box, a to box, a subject box, a greeting, and some goodbyes of some sort as well. Now, how are you? A hello, a hi, a from, or a love, or a see you soon, or a speak later. So hopefully you remembered some of those. Right, okay. I think that's it for today. We've had a review of everything, a good review. What I've got for you to do is some more past simple practice in the negative form this time. And then some more practice writing in the past simple, because it's really important that we keep practicing that. So some practice writing in the past simple. I want you to write sentences with your new words. Don't forget to do that and learn your new words. And yeah, I just want you to keep revising everything, so that when we do our video chat and I ask you to do some different things, then you can practice the different tenses, practice your spellings, etc. So then next week, moving on, next week we'll look very briefly at past simple questions. Next week we'll be looking very briefly at that. And then we'll be consolidating some more reading techniques, okay, looking at different types of text again, and some other bits and bobs too. So again, you have 7 days to complete your work. Good luck. Complete all the exercises attached. Don't forget to write your spelling sentences too. And any problems, give me a ring. Okay, take care. Have a great week. Bye.